Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Understand the Bible. And I'm your host, Damien. In the last episode, we went over Genesis 9 and we read about how what happened at the end of the flood and how God he had a covenant that he would never flood the earth again, and he gave Noah and his family and descendants and everybody permission to rule over all the animals and use them for sacrifices and for food and everything. Then later, Noah had planted a vineyard and got himself drunk, and his kids found him naked, right? And so that's where we ended chapter 9. So now on chapter 10, we're going to talk about the descendants of all of the kids. So here we go. This is the account of the families of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the three sons of Noah. Many children were born to them after the great flood. The descendants of Japheth. The descendants of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Medea, Javan, Tubal, Meshish, and Tyrus. The descendants of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Rephath, and Togarmah. The descendants of Javan were Elishas, Tarshish, Kedem, and Rodman. Their descendants became the seafaring people that spread out to various lands, each identified by its own language, clan, and national identity. The descendants of Ham. The descendants of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The descendants of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabata, Rama, and Sabtica. The descendants of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush was also the ancestor of Nimrod, who was the first heroic warrior on earth. Since he was the greatest hunter in the world, his name became proverbial. People would say this man is like Nimrod, the greatest hunter in the world. He built his kingdom in the land of Babylon with the cities of Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. From there, he expanded his territory to Azrael, building the cities of Neva, Rehoboth, Kala, and Resen. The great city located between Nevaeh and Kala. Mizraim was the ancestor of the Ludus, Amamites, Lahabites, the Naphatuhites, the Pathorites, the Casaluites, and the Caphatorites, from whom the Philistines came. Canaan's oldest son was Sidon, the ancestor of the Sidonians. Canaan was also the ancestor of Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Gergasites, the Hivites, the Archites, the Senates, the Arvadites, and Zimrites, and Hamathites. The Canaanite clan eventually spread out, and the territory of Canaan extended from Sidon in the north to Jer and Gaza in the south, the east as far as Sodom, Gomorrah, Adamah, and Zebulun near Lasha. These were the descendants of Ham, identified by clan, language, territory, and national identity. The descendants of Sham's sons were also born of Shem, the older brother of Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the descendants of Eber. The descendants of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The descendants of Aram were Uz, Hul, Jether, and Mash. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had two sons. The first was Pelgit, which means division, for during his lifetime the people of the world were divided into language groups. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the ancestor of Almanad, Shelif, Harzamav, Jera, Hadaram, Uzal, Dikala, Obal, Amal, Sheba, Orpher, Havilah, and Joab. All these were descendants of Joktan. The territory they occupied extended from Mesh all the way to Sephir in the eastern mountains. These were the descendants of Shem, identified by city, clan, language, territory, and national identity. And in conclusion, these are clans that describe Noah's sons arranged by nation according to their lines of descent. All the nations of the earth descended from these clans after the flood. And, oh, hold on, let me see if I can pull it down a little bit more for you guys. Okay. So that's the end of chapter 10. I know it wasn't very entertaining, and I butchered those ancient names like I always do. I mean, I'm sorry, I just really can't pronounce some of those ancient names, or I don't know, I just don't have I can't roll my tongue and do just pronounce the names the way they should be pronounced. And I think basically what I got from chapter 10 is after the flood, everybody spread out and went separate ways, and I think this is how everybody's language became. We have I'm not saying English and Spanish and things like that, but this is the beginning of how that all became. And and it all happened after the flood, and after God promised that he wasn't going to flood again, and told everybody to go out here and be fruitful and multiply. And they spread all across the world in all four directions, and create their own cities and their own languages. And that's how we got our national identity, apparently. And again, I know it's not the most fun episode, but I mean, I guess we basically got the backstory on where we all came from and how we all became different nationalities. And if you like what you heard in this last episode, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll keep it going with chapter 11. Talk to you guys later.